students of CBSE Class 12 Pol Science. Today we'll discuss Chapter 3 US Hegemony in World Politics. Listen to the discussion attentively till the end and try to solve the questions given at the end of the lecture. I am sure that it will help you to score high marks in the examination. This whole chapter has been divided into main 9 key points in order to bring the gist of the chapter. Let's start step by step. The first topic is beginning of the new world order. Let's see what does it mean. Now the US did not start behaving like a hegemonic power right from the disintegration of the USSR in 1991. It became clear much later that the world was in fact living in a period of hegemony. Then let us therefore look at this process by which US hegemony got established more closely. For first one, number one is Kuwait was invaded by Iraq in August 1990 and was subsequently annexed. After a series of diplomatic attempts failed at convincing Iraq to quit its aggression, the United Nations mandated the liberation of Kuwait by force. This discussion of the decision of UN was hailed by the US President, then George H.W. Bush, as the emergence of a new world order. Took the responsibility. This is the first topic, meaning beginning of the new world order. Next topic is the Clinton years. So see, this Clinton years, what had happened during the President Clinton's period. The Clinton years, George H.W. Bush lost the US presidential election of 1992 to William Jefferson Clinton or Bill Clinton of the Democratic Party. During this era, it was believed that the US had withdrawn its particular attention from the international to its internal affairs and was not fully engaged in the world politics. The government led by Clinton focused on soft issues like democracy promotion, like climatic change and world trade rather than hard politics. Still, the US showed its military powers firstly in 1999 in response to Yugoslavian actions against the predominantly Albanian population in the province of Kosovo. Secondly, in response to the bombing of the US embassies in Nairobi, Kenya, and the Dar es Salaam operation in missile strikes of Al-Qaeda terrorists started the series of cruise missiles targeted in Sudan and Afghanistan. So, during the Clinton period, that was the mentionable incident took place. Now, the third topic is 9/11 and the global war on terror. A very important topic, and it comes in the examination several times it came. Now, let's see. On the 11th September 2001, 19 hijackers hailing from a number of Arab countries hijacked 4 American commercial aircraft and flew them into the important buildings in the US. The first and the second airline crashed into the north and south towers of the World Trade Center in New York, and the third crashed to the Pentagon building center in the New York in Arlington, Virginia, and the fourth aircraft came down in a field in Pennsylvania. These attacks came to be known as the 9/11 attack. The US response to 9/11 was swift and ferocious. The US launched Operation Enduring Freedom, particularly under this title, against all those suspected to be behind this attack, mainly Al-Qaeda and the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. The US forces made arrests all over the world, often without the knowledge of the government of the persons being arrested, transported them, those persons, across the countries and detained them in a secret prisons. Now, that was the response of 9/11 and the incident of 9/11. Next is number 4. The topic is the Iraq invasion. The next step, Iraq invasion. Another point of this American hegemony. Let's see. On 19th March 2003, the US launched its invasion of Iraq under the code name Operation Iraqi Freedom. More than 40 other countries joined in the US. The purpose of the invasion was to prevent Iraq from developing weapons of mass destruction, that is WMD. All this was, there was no evidence of such WMD. It is speculated that the invasion was motivated by other objectives, such as controlling Iraqi oil fields and installing a regime friendly to the US. So this all about the Iraqi invasion. That is another showing the power of US. Next, number 5 topic is, what does hegemony mean? So far we are discussing about the hegemony. We have to know the core meaning of hegemony. So the word hegemony means the leadership or predominance of one state over other by virtue of its military, economic, political power and the cultural superiority. Now, next is hegemony in different forms. In different forms, hegemonies are there. The first meaning of the hegemony relates to the relations, patterns, and balances of military capability between states. American military dominance today is both absolute and relative. It is hard power hegemony. The US predominance in the world is based not only on its military power and soft power, that is economic powers. Only this economic power and military power is not the hegemonic power of US. Its cultural presence also another hegemony. It is called the soft power hegemony. In the third sense, hegemony is reflected in the role played by the US in providing the global public goods. The best example of global public goods are sea lanes of communication, SLOCs, internet, roads, etc. It is called the hegemony as structural power. So these are the different forms of hegemony. Now, next point is constraints of American power. So what are the limitations? So what are the constraints? There are 3 constraints on American powers. Number 1, the institutional architecture of the America is the first constraint. The second constraint is domestic in nature. There is a deep skepticism regarding the purpose and the method of government in America. It is in nature in political culture in US. The third constraint on American power is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, which is only organization in the international system that could possibly moderate all exercise of American power. So these are the constraints of the American power. Now, limitation. Next is the number 8, India's relationship with the US. Very important. So let's see the India's relationship with US. India's relation during the Cold War era. India's close friendship was with the Soviet Union. Over the years, India decided to liberalize the economy and integrate it with the global economy. This policy and India's this impressive economic growth rates in recent years made India the country of an attraction of other countries, an economic partner for the number of countries, including the US. 2 new factors emerged in Indo-US relation in recent years. They include, number 1, technological dimension, and the second is the role of the Indian-American diaspora. These are the 3 different strategies to decide what kind of relationship India should have with USA. They are as follows. Number 1, those Indian analysts who see international power or the politics in terms of military power prefer that India should maintain its distance from US and should focus upon increasing its own national power. Number 2 strategy, other analysts see the growing convergence of interest between US and India as a historic opportunity for India. And the third analyst group of analysts, they said that, they advocate that India should take the lead in establishing the coalition of countries from developing world. Now, this is the last point, number 9. How can hegemony be overcome? Very important question. How can this hegemony be overcome? Let's see. It is important to understand that there is no single power to balance the US military power. There are various strategies which can be helpful to overcome the hegemony. Number one, according to the bandwagon strategy, it is suggested that instead of engaging in activities opposed to the hegemonic power, it is advisable to extract benefits by operating within the hegemonic system. Next is hide strategy. So we have to see that what is hide strategy, how it helps to overcome the hegemonic power of US. The hide strategy implies strategies as far removed from the dominance power as possible to stay far away, like China, Russia, and the European Union are many examples of this behavior. Number third, another belief it is that resistance to American hegemony may come from a combination of non-governmental organizations, NGOs, social movements, and public opinion. It may arise from the sections of the media and the intellectuals, artisans, and the writers, etc. My dear students, today's lecture is over. So from this chapter, the most important question, probable question, may come in the examination. Number one, what was the particular term hegemony imply? What does the term hegemony imply? Number two, what was Operation Desert Storm? Number three, how can hegemony be overcome? Number four, what was a 9/11 event? What was the US response to it? Number five, explain the hegemony of the United States of America as a structural power. Dear students, these are the gist of the chapter, and you will be able to understand the chapter if you listen attentively, and you'll be able to write the answer yourself. You can become self-dependent. So students, thanks a lot to watch till the end. Write your all doubts in the comment box so that I can help you, and don't forget to subscribe my channel please for the next video. Thanking you all.